Welcome, everybody, to your 15 minutes of fun with Laura and Dotty. I'm Laura Barker, and my cohort, I'm Dotty Dot. And we are going to talk about something serious, important today.
Oh, you say that so seriously.
I know. And that seriousness was total sarcasm, but only so because it is important. What we're going to talk about is thought leadership, not just a buzzword. What do you think about thought leadership?
In my mind, when I hear that phrase,
Yeah,
it is around creating something, whether it be a video, a blog post, text, whatever, that is original to you. Is you're not just regurgitating what other people have said. You may be taking a topic that's being talked a lot about, like for now, AI.
right.
Everybody's talking about AI, but I
Yeah.
want to hear your take on it. Your
Wow,
original thought.
that's like a perfect definition. I absolutely love that, how you frame that. And it is about adding your insight, usually on a trending topic or maybe a historical one, but some topic that's important to your audience, but not necessarily to your target audience niche, right? It's going to be bigger than that. And so you might wonder, hey, I'm a solopreneur. What are you talking about? I don't need to be a thought leader. I don't need to establish thought leadership.
It
And
puts you on the radar, though.
it puts you on the radar and it shows people that you are more than your limited niche, right? That you have a brain and that you use it. Right? It's another way of adding value to your content. And it does so in a way that reaches more people than just your niche. So you might think of this as you've heard of tofu, mofu, and bofu, top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of the funnel. So this is your top of the funnel audience where you're really reaching across genres and across your own individual businesses targets. And what does that do for you?
Gets you exposure
That's
and
right.
not the kind where the streak was doing it that were down the street.
Exactly. We're going to stay away from that. Please do not expose yourself. We're not talking about that. We
It gets you on the radar for people that would not normally see your content. And
absolutely.
they're going to be making judgments. Let's be
Yeah.
honest, they'll be
Yeah.
making judgments
Yeah.
on you, on how you carry yourself, on how you think, on
But
whether or not they would like to maybe do further interaction with you, potentially become a referral partner. There's all kinds of different things.
yeah,
But if you're not on their radar, they don't know who you are.
it is so important for you to have that kind of extra arm of visibility, right? Because it's so easy to get, it's easy for me anyway to get on a path of helping you with LinkedIn, right? I'm all about that. I'm all about LinkedIn. I love it. I love every aspect of it. I think about a lot of other things, and it's so easy to get just caught up in that I might forget to share my other perspectives or insight. And what I want to recommend for people, if you are interested in doing this and you're thinking, yeah, but what am I going to talk about, right? You know, where I get ideas is through exposing myself to other programs like YouTube's. TED Talks are my favorite thing in the world.
I love
And
TED Talks.
aren't they fantastic? I just watched one this morning that I'm actually going to post about. It's a different look at AI, really from a 30,000 foot view, 3, 5, 10, 15 years from now. What are we going to be talking about? How's this going to look? And it's absolutely fascinating. So I can't wait to break it apart, give my perspective on it, right? I'm not just going to regurgitate what's in the TED Talk.
Laura, you want to know why I like TED Talk so much?
Tell me.
Because I can go to those channels and read the descriptions or the titles, and I think, "What a boring topic. I have no interest in this whatsoever." It's like
Right.
such a, like, left field type of a thing, and I'll watch it and I'll think, "That was fascinating.
Yeah.
It was interesting." And it was nothing like what I expected it to be based
Yeah.
on the title.
Yeah.
But they every single one of them fascinate me in one way or another.
Could not agree more. It is really the bedrock of a good business person is to expand your horizon consistently.
Mhm.
You have to be diving into other areas because think about it. We live in little microcosms and it's so easy just to get trapped in our little bubble of the same people, the same concepts, the same strategy, etc. But it's boring and you probably have a life. You just don't think about including it in this way. So you can really reap some big rewards because another thing that a good thought leadership post will do is get engagement. If it's good, people will comment on it. You
On
would
both sides of the fence.
Oh, absolutely. 100% you will. There've been a couple I posted, I can't even remember what the topic was now, but somebody got just snippy and snarky with me about the content, but you're entitled to your opinion. Thanks for chiming in. I'm not gonna take offense at that, right? The whole point of this is let's have a discussion. So I love it for that.
This
Yeah,
brings something to mind,
yeah,
not exactly on the same topic, but you never know how people will reach out and find you.
so true.
So coincidentally, this week, I had somebody randomly pop up on my calendar, for a discovery call, which generally doesn't happen. Usually, I know who they are beforehand. No clue. So when I met this lady, I did have to ask, "Where did you come from? How did you find me?" She goes, "Oh, Dottie, I met you 5 or more years ago at an in-person networking event in Portland, and you kept my card?" She goes, "Yeah, I've had it on my desk, and you must have put me on your newsletter or something because I occasionally get emails from you, and you've been top of mind on occasion, and, like, all of a sudden, I needed you, so set up this appointment."
Right.
And I thought, "Okay, that was really random," and you just never know when someone is gonna do that. And I incidentally, this week as well, I had another random person, and I had to ask them because I ask everybody, "Why did you call me?"
Mhm.
And this was not an appointment, she just called me, which
Oh,
I like
picked
that
up the
too, and I
phone.
answer my phone. Great.
Right.
And she said about 5 or maybe even 7 years ago, this particular person does sportsman shows in her business. She said,
Okay.
"I was attending a sportsman show in Portland, and I was talking about website problems, and the guy in the booth next to me handed me your card." I'm like, I have no idea who that could have been.
Wow.
None. Not a clue."
Yeah.
And she goes, "And I hung on to it because I knew eventually I would call you."
Wow.
7 years later, she calls me. So you just when you're reaching out and people are finding you in various ways, you don't know what's really going to pay off, so to speak.
And I've got a statistic that goes right along with that. At any given time, the audience out there, your potential customers, potential clients, they don't need you now. Like only 1% of your potential clients actually have a need for you right now. Really do have to be finding ways to stay on their radar. And establishing yourself as a thought leader is a really good way to do that. Because let's say somebody doesn't need a website now or doesn't feel like they want to invest in LinkedIn coaching or business consulting right now. They're not going to click and follow and all of that if that's the only thing I ever talk about or Dottie ever talks about. When we get out there, we put ourselves out there. Now I'm talking about something that's of interest to them, even though it's not, and because it's not about my business, allows you to stay top of mind on the radar with these folks so that when they do need you, you're there and you come to mind. That is
Like,
critical.
I rarely ever talk about websites because, between you and me, they're really boring.
But you should do a TED talk on them and then they wouldn't be.
Maybe.
Right.
So
Right.
this lady that heard me in Portland, she would have heard anything from Facebook to video to
Yeah.
networking, other business tips, all kinds of stuff that I have gone to groups and spoke about. She
Sure.
didn't remember what it was, but it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't at all. And that goes to your personal brand too, Dottie. Part of your brand and my brand is that we don't limit ourselves. We really try to be that broader resource and it pays off in crazy ways and crazy timing because you don't know where a lead is coming from or when they're
Well,
going to need you.
here's another one. Many years ago, I flew to Texas for something. I don't remember what. And on the flight home to Portland, I sat next to an older gentleman who was coming to visit his daughter who was going to one of the colleges in Portland. And we just chit-chatted. He asked what I did, I gave him my card. That was it, okay? Chit-chatted about Portland, Texas, all this stuff. And 5 years later, that seems to be the magic number.
I was going to say, there's
5
something.
years later, he calls me up and he says, "Dottie, I bet you don't remember me, but we flew together to Portland 5 years ago, and I kept your card all these years because I knew someday I was gonna need you."
See, isn't that incredible? Yeah.
It is.
I've not been in business as long as you have, not with this business anyway. And so my uh time frames for people doing something like that is more like 2 to 3 years, right? Saw you on some, and they'll say, I saw you on something, I don't even remember what, but I took note, marked your name down or whatever, or got your resource or whatever. And because I really thought I'm going to do that and I want to work with Laura, I'm just not ready.
Yeah.
So that really is a significant thing. By the way, I want to thank Darielle Archer and Heshy Siegel for showing up today and being with us on the show. You guys are great. And yes, Darielle, TED Talks rock. I could not
I do.
agree anymore. You'll have to share some of your favorites with us, Darielle. Love that. And Darielle, consider making a post about one of them and adding your insights to it.
And consider I met Darielle probably 20 years ago when her and I were in a network marketing company named Manatech, and we were selling or promoting, whatever you want to call it, health supplements. We both did other things and whatnot, but you never know when you're going to meet someone that becomes, like Nancy says, the one. You are one of my ones, just so you know.
I love that. I love that. And I have stories like that too. Rita Thomas is in a group we're in, and we had networked in person here we live in the same city and in Knoxville. And so we had networked in person years ago, right? Hadn't seen her. Golly, it might have been 8, 9, maybe even 10 years. Anyway, and we show up one day at this networking event online. Is that you, Rita Thomas? Yeah. And since then, we have done a ton of business together, right? It's just, it is crazy how these things happen. So I love that. What else is great too about really, if you want to improve your personal brand, and we're right at time, so I'll wrap up with this, but it really requires you to be open to experiment, to be always be learning, to be innovative in the way you're thinking. People will see that as, well, we all know how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're providing really good insights on some other topic, they're going to feel confident that you're going to have good insights into your business for them, right? So it's a win, folks, and it's fun, right?